How do you feel after watching that ad?
Well, it is a sharp shot of reality. And it's not what we want for South Africa, it is what we want to avoid happening in South Africa. And it's important to understand that the DA warned against cadre deployment. People said we were fear-mongering. Cadre deployment destroyed the developmental capacity of the state. The DA warned against Jacob Zuma. We said stop Zuma, and we were criticized for that fact. He enabled state capture on a level never seen before. Now, at a critical juncture, the DA warns again of an ANC-EFF coalition of doom for South Africa. We want to stop it. We're not just here to warn, we're also here to offer an alternative. So yes, indeed, it's a bit of a shocker, but it is important that we focus the South African mind on what is at stake at this election.
Now, it is true that another 5 years of ANC governance is a scary thought, but I think it is an even more scary thought to think of 5 years of an ANC-EFF coalition of corruption, doomsday coalition. What can South Africans do to ensure that this doesn't take place?
So I think there is a complacency. Many people think, let's just give the ANC another chance, or, let's just try out, see what happens. Unfortunately, the destructiveness that will be unleashed by such a coalition has the risk that it will close out all opportunities for us to save the South African dream, to allow people to escape from poverty, to enable economic growth, to secure the rule of law, and to achieve what we set out to achieve with the Constitution. So we don't have time. And your question, what should we do? We should vote for the DA on election day as part of the multi-party charter for South Africa. That is a pathway to victory, not just in Gauteng, but potentially at national government level as well.
Now, Cilliers, a lot of South Africans don't have confidence inside coalitions. You see in Joburg and a lot of other municipalities, smaller parties selling out voters by asking for positions, for tenders, and using that as a means to build a government. What will the multi-party charter do differently?
So the multi-party charter is essentially all of the lessons we have learnt about coalitions and how to make it better. There's nothing inherently romantic about coalitions. We know that where the DA governs with a majority, things are at their best. Where we govern in a coalition, things are more difficult. But we have to accept the reality that we have to band together with other like-minded parties. And the multi-party charter represents a government for the rule of law, non-racialism, a capable state, and a social market economy that can lift people out of poverty. We have drawn the line with corrupt politicians who've wanted to negotiate about tenders, about jobs. We've said no. People have called us arrogant. We've said that is our principled duty towards not just our supporters, but the people of South Africa. So understandably, people are weary about coalitions, but remember, coalitions are a way of replacing 30 years of stagnant ANC dominant party democracy. We've got to end it somehow, and the multi-party charter is the best response, the most principled response, the best way we have of making sure that coalitions serve the people instead of the politicians and the network of corruption that we've seen.
Now, the multi-party charter has shown that it can work, and it's working in Tshwane under your leadership. Can you tell us about some of the successes you've had thus far in about a year in office?
So we've appointed a new top management. It's the essence of a capable state. You can hope to change the culture, but if you don't change the top management, the personnel, you'll never change the culture. That cultural change is slowly happening with a new group of people. They have taken strong disciplinary action on issues such as Rooiwal and against the threats of the opposition, done what is right. We've taken the first steps on energy independence with our plans on Pretoria West and Rooiwal power stations. We've made difficult decisions about the financial rescue of the city, and we've had to face down violent resistance to those difficult decisions. You know about the strike. You lived with us through the strike. So that, we've said, we're not perfect. Mistakes were made in the past. Certainly we'll make mistakes going forward. But think about it. Who would you rather have run a metro such as Tshwane? The ANC-EFF coalition with some puppet mayor, which could have been the possibility, or an imperfect one where the DA anchors the coalition, takes our lessons and pushes for our agenda in circumstances that are difficult, I would go for the multi-party charter option, even if I were standing on the outside.
Sure. Cilliers, what would your final message be for people watching at home in the run-up to this crucial election on the 29th of May?
Elections are about choices. You've got to force a choice. You've got to force a choice, and this ad that we've just released forces the choice. It is based in reality. It does warn South Africa about the possibility of an ANC-EFF doomsday coalition, but it also holds up an opportunity, a different pathway into the future, based on the success that the DA has achieved in government, based on our track record of defending the Constitution and bringing South Africans together as a community of shared values.